Hey, guess who? Tim again, sitting here out on the deck at mine and Carolyn's house, doing my little third video today. I like the numbers three. I talk to you a lot of times about threes, things are in threes, how it is. And if you get a chance, go back and listen to some of my first videos. This may be the first time some of you guys are maybe tuning in. And if it is, thank you for letting me to come into your home today, or your car, or whatever, or your phone, wherever you're listening to this. And I want to know that you can go back or go into our YouTube channel for Tim and Carolyn Rivers, and go back and view our videos. So we have probably now 50 some odd videos talking about our life, and me I want to say ministering to you and encouraging you, and talking to you how you can have a perfect marriage, the perfect life. And again, in talking about threes, how God has shown me how, three areas, how certain things work in your intimacy and other things. So if you get a chance, go back and pick those up. Again, Tim and Carolyn Rivers in the YouTube channel. And you'll be able to see my mug sitting out here or on the back porch or whatever. But again, say I'm so honored to be able to talk to you, to be able to share my life with you, mine and Carolyn's life with you, and the continued life that you and I will have together until we get to the point where we're eternal. And so I'm excited about that as well. And you hear me say a lot of times, I love winning. I do. It's not just the ideal. It's not just the ideal winning or the reward of winning. It's just a fulfillment that you have to understand that that's what you were designed to do. You were not designed to fail. You were not designed to struggle. You weren't designed to do that. And I know, and I've said it to you a lot of times, we live in this fallen world, and everything around us is falling, and it's a disarray and all that. But you can live in the spirit and mindset of winning in this life. You'll say, "Well, Tim, you're not the wealthiest guy in the world. So and so is." I said, "Hey, man, I'm a lot more richer than that person is." Now, if that person knows God, then that person monetarily might be much more richer than I am monetarily. But spiritually, you can't get any more richer than I am in my spirit. Because you know why? When Jesus came into my life, I'm talking about Jesus. When Jesus came in my life, he came into my spirit, because Jesus is a spirit now. He came into my spirit, and now my spirit man is perfect. So when you're perfect and I'm perfect, I may not look perfect, I may not sound perfect, and you may not think I'm perfect, but I am perfect in my spirit man. And so are you if you have that same spirit. Now, we're still all working on our mental capacity and our what we say, our soul. That's where our emotions and intellect and wills and all that is involved. And we're still working on our flesh. But once we get our mindset corrected, get our soul, and again, the Bible says, here we go, the Bible. Man, that Bible is something else, huh? The Bible is the book, brother, sisters, family, folks. The Bible is where you need to be. You say, well, I can't understand this sometimes when I read it. It's all got these and thous. Well, get you a translation get you a amplified translation. Get you a Passion translation. I love the Passion translation. It's only in the New Testament, and right now, and then it's got Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, and Revelation, but it doesn't have the books of the Old Testament. But get you something that you can read. If you can't read, get you a Bible that's got pictures in it. Look at the pictures. I'm only kidding you. I'm saying those things. I know you can read. So get in that Bible and read. Get in that book, and you'll understand it, because it's made for you. Because you gotta realize that the Bible is God's written word, and when you read the written word, it's the living word, and it was inspired to man by the Holy Spirit to write those words and those examples and things down in there. Now, some stories you read and things pertain to to the time of the era when that happened, and things like that. But it'll always come back to point you to Jesus. It'll always get you back to the place that you need to be. Say read some things in there. You say, well, that don't pertain to me today. Well, it may not pertain for you as far as a time frame or the settings or the environment, but there are nuggets in those things. There is wisdom in those. So get you a translation that you can understand. Get the Amplified Bible. Those who don't want to get away from the King James version, we'll get the New King James and then get it in Amplified, and it will amplify it and it will come alive to you. But again, that's why I like the Passion Bible, because it kind of speaks in the vernacular of people's conversation and everything. So that's good. So anyhow, get the word. You can get that, and you can get that down inside of you. So, Carol and I were decided, hey, we're going to move to Lufkin. We was excited about that. Our family, my mom and dad and her mom and all our nieces and nephews and those other members, they weren't too excited about that because they enjoy coming over our house and being with us, but Lufkin wasn't that far from where we lived, and it was I really believe it was a great opportunity for me to go there, for not just me, for my family to go there, Carolyn and Thaxton and I, to go there and be there. And you got to understand that when you're succeeding in life, there are steps, there are things that you go through that they're always stepping you up. Even those you guys that have experienced job losses and layoffs and through all this craziness that's going on, I love all this craziness because I love winning over all this. I love seeing how you can be blessed, and I love to see how I'm blessed through all this mayhem and all this. I call it a social experiment. The enemy's trying to push you as far as he can. He's trying to manipulate you as far as he can. Those who are in control are trying to see how far can we push these people. They can't push me and they can't push you, because we won't allow them to push you and me and you. Okay, so getting back talking about the story, we decided to move, and so we sold our boat, and because people say, why'd you sell your boat? Well, I can always get another boat. Why do you sell a car? Because you want another car. I mean, those things are material things. Even though they brings some joy and happiness to you, you can always replace them. So anyhow, we sold our boat and everything. But you know what? I didn't tell you that story about the rollers, did I? Now, some of you folks are listening now probably won't understand what I'm saying about that. But if you go back to part 20, I believe in part 20 I started talking about that. Yeah, in part 20 in the videos, the videos, the first video, and then the first video, continue 1 and continue 2. You'll understand why I'm talking about the rollers. We had this nice little boat and all that. So Edel Carolyn, she's a person that she always laughed about everything. Even when I stumped my toe, she laughed about it. I said, well, you wouldn't laugh if it was being your toe, and we'd all get a good laugh out of it. But it seemed like when you're able to laugh, when you're able to, and again, the Bible says laughter is a medicine. When you laugh, and when you rejoice and when you laugh, it becomes medicine to your body. And when you can laugh about situations, I know sometimes my neighbors thinks I'm weird sometimes when I walk in the morning or something. I walk from the back of my property to the front of my property. I haven't done that in a while, but when I was doing that, when I would take the first lap, and the first lap would be all the way up to the highway and then all the way back to the back of the property down here, I would laugh. I would make myself laugh. I'd just say ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, and people would say, well, Tim, that's fake. Did you know that your body don't know the difference between a real laugh and a put-on laugh? It doesn't know the difference. So you begin to laugh about a situation like that. If you can't just have a gut-splitting laugh, you just say ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha, and you'll laughter is like a medicine. It's good for you. It begins to do that. So, Carolyn she was good at that. Even when I stubbed my toe, I said, "Why aren't you laughing when you stop?" Well, I guess I could laugh. I mean, we would laugh at that. So the deal about the roller was that, we was fishing that day. It was just Carol and I. The Texan had stayed home with my folks, mom and dad, or mom, and so we were out having a good time fishing, and that's what we love to do. Carol and I love to fish more than any other thing, I guess you can imagine. We love to do that. So we was out fishing, and so we'd caught a bunch of fish that day. Carolyn had caught some bass. She caught her first bass that day. She'd been catching white perch and stuff like that, and brim and stuff like that. And we was out in the boat. We was up in this little slough. We was at Sam Rayburn. That's where we was at. And we was up. We like to go to Sandy Lake Park. Like I told you, there's a lot of sandy little areas there and stuff. And there was a lot of good fishing area that we knew. And so we was up and back in this cove out of the wind because it was real windy that day. And Carol said, "Well, I can't seem to cast because of the wind and everything." I said, "Well, just throw your bait out the back, and let your line peel off." And she was sitting in the back seat, and I said, "Then you just turn your seat around and just reel it up." And I'm going forward because the wind's pushing us forward, and your line's going to be just pulling through the water. So she was sitting back there, and all of a sudden she said, "Oh, it's got hung. It's hung on something." I said, "Are you sure?" And so I stopped the boat, and I put the trolling motor in reverse, just kind of keep it steady. And then she started reeling, and then she realized that it started. I said, "That thing you got hung on, it must be a limb or something, but it's alive." And we laughed about that. She said, "No, I think I got a fish. And sure enough, she had about a 3-pound bass, which was a huge bass to her, and it's a pretty good sized bass. And so she got in. She was all excited about that, and she said, "Oh man, we have such a good time together now here fishing and things like that." Were we out there in a $40,000 bass rig, which they cost now more than that, $70,000? Were we out? No, we was out in our little rig, and we were dry, and we were safe, and we had our lunch that we packed, and we ate out there, and we were fishing, we caught fish, and we were just having a good time. It was having a good time. So we were coming back in, and we were laughing and everything. And so I told her, I said, and Carolyn learned to be pretty good about this for a while. I said, back the trailer down in the water. "I don't think I can do it." And eventually she got where she could do it. And I said, "Okay, well, let me get up there." So I got up there, and I backed the truck down just where the trailer was, just right at the edge of the water. And I said, "Now you get in the truck, and you back it down a little bit more into the water, and I'm going to drive this up on the trailer." She said, "No, don't drive. I don't think you should drive it up on the trailer." So I didn't have any guide in the boat trailers and things nowadays, or the majority of them nowadays have guides on the side where you drive up in the boat. And it just made me just think about when I was talking about just now, that you need to have guides. You need to have guides in life that will keep you lined up so you can get on the trailer in case of my boat getting on the trailer. So I didn't have no guides on there, and it had the small rollers on there and everything. And when you need a boat, you need big rollers too, okay? And you need guides. And so we got down, and Carolyn just eased the trailer back down the water so that it got down deep enough, where I could just see the top of the rollers. And so I was going to drive the boat up on the trailer. Well, Carolyn had gotten out of the truck, and she'd put an emergency brake on the truck, and so she'd walk down to the back of the truck. And you shouldn't really do that. You should stay in the truck and make sure the brake would hold, but the brake held. So I was coming around, and the wind was blowing, and I was trying to line the thing up to get up on the trailer, so I could just drive it up on the trailer, and then I could reach over and grab the deal and tighten it up and step over into the truck and all that. And so I was trying to get it right in the trailer, and it was windy, and so the waves were bouncing a little bit and everything. And so I got up to the edge of it, and I was fixing to give it some juice, give it some gas so it'd push on there. And I got it up there, and and I got my back end just right, and then all of a sudden another boat came in about where we were, and they came up pretty fast, and the wind was blowing too, and they started making waves. And so by the time I didn't see the waves, but the waves and by the time I'd gotten there, I gave it some throttle to get it up on the trailer. And when I did, the wave got behind us, and it pushed me sideways, not totally sideways, but pushed me off of my roller, and then jammed my boat into the tongue of the trailer. And now on the tongue of the trailer, can you imagine this? Can you see this? It's like this is the trailer. Well, there is a piece that comes out like that has a roller on that, and that's where the boat fits up against it, and then you hook the deal on, and you guys know what I'm talking about, and then that's where you tighten the boat up. Well, with the wave and the winds and me giving it throttle, then I realized that I had come up on it too fast. I backed off the throttle, and when I did, the boat hit that deal up there. And you know what it did? It knocked a hole in my boat. I mean, it knocked a hole in my boat. Being a fiberglass boat, knocked a hole in my boat. And so there I was, and I was, oh no, look what happened to my boat, Carolyn, look at my boat. And all of a sudden, Carolyn started laughing. I said, what are you laughing about? And I had already jumped out of the boat, and I was about this deep in water, and I was getting my boat straight, and Carolyn was up there laughing. I said, this is not funny at all. This is not funny at all. And she was just cackling. You know how Carolyn, those that knew her personally, and even those who didn't know her personally, but maybe corresponded with her on Facebook, or she met you somewhere and she bought the junk you had, or she was at a garage sale or an auction or whatever. She was a person of joy. Being a Sunday's child, she was a person of joy. She was always laughing. She thought that was so funny, and I got up on it. I was starting to get mad. People say, "Oh, that person made me mad." No, you made yourself mad. I had made myself mad because she was laughing. So I'd gotten out of the boat, and then I'd got up by her. I got the thing on the trailer and tightened it up, and I said, "Let's get the truck out of here." And she was just laughing. And I said, "Carolyn, why is that so funny?" She says, "I don't know. It's just so funny. I know it's bad." He said, "But I just got to laugh at this thing." And then it came over me. And I started laughing about it. I said, "Why are we so about this?" And I started laughing too. And then all of a sudden, the emotions of that being mad and something terrible had happened, and now it fed me. It fed me. And that's the steady diet. It's a steady diet of good news. The good news, I had insurance, and the good news, I could get that thing fixed. So anyhow, we got the boat out of the water and pulled the plug out of the back, because a little bit of water had gotten in the boat, but the boat behind us, the waves and everything. And so we let that out, and we went on home, and we laughed about it all the way home. Can you believe that? I said, "Boy, our insurance man, he's going to be laughing too." She said, "I don't know if he's going to be laughing, but we are, because we have insurance." So I told you that little story. And then like I said, God just spoke to me a while ago about having those boundaries, or having those guides in your life. See, you need me as your guide. I'm a good fishing guide. Whenever I go fishing, I go catch fish, So if you ever want to catch fish, invite me to go fishing with you, and we'll do it. But I'm a guide to you, just like those who encourage me and speak in my life are guides to me. We got to have guides so we can pull our ship or pull our boat up on the trailer to safety. We got to have those guides, and we got to be sure our rollers are wide enough. We got to be sure that it is ample enough. We got to be sure that those things in our life, that roll us through life, are big enough to carry us. And that's what I'm doing in these conversations. And then when that happens, when you have other guides, when you have the guides of your life, and not just the guides for me, from my words, but the guides of what God has said, and then God's word, what He's saying about the times that we live in, having discernment and how we're going to overcome and how we're going to be victorious. Those are the guides that you need to have so you can pull up to safety on dry land, and up on especially, and we're talking about the trailer now. The guides that you need in life will help you to pull up to safety. They'll guide you to safety. They'll keep you out of destruction. And it's the same way when the wind was blowing and when that boat come behind me, and when it did, the wave got up underneath my boat. You know how waves come up under, it can lift you up or it can pull you down. The waves of life has come upon you. The winds of life, the waves of another boat that is not it's not part of you. The things of life that are not part of you, the scandals and things are not part of you. They want to bring a wave to you. They want to drown you, and then also to the winds that blow, the winds of every doctrine, the winds of all this wind is howling out here, and the winds don't affect us if we got guides in life, because we built, and the Bible talks about building your house on sand or a firm foundation. The guides of life we will have in life, the right guides we have in life, will put us upon a solid foundation. The same way when I finally got up on the trailer, even though I had some little destruction on the boat, I knew right off when I was going home, and Carol and I were talking. I said, I need some guides on that trailer. Yeah, I've been telling you about it. You need to get guides on there. I said, yeah, I remember. And she said, and you talked about bigger rollers. I said, yeah, I have bigger rollers. And I said, and we'll do that, And so what we did, we did bigger guides and bigger rollers. And it didn't matter what the circumstances was, didn't matter how bad the wind was. If we could get up in our guided area, where you have the guides on there, then it didn't matter if the wind was blowing, the waves were bouncing. That would straighten you up where you could land and be brought out of those destructive waters and those waves and those winds. I hope my little story, I didn't think he was going to go there today, but the Holy Spirit just kind of dropped it in my mind that you didn't tell him about the rollers on the trailer. And I thought, well, that's too far to tell it now. We've already come from that point and whatever, and now we're about to sail the boat. But I had to tell you that. So I hope that encouraged you today. Get the guides that you need in life, the good guides, the good guides that will lead you and show you to safety and a sure foundation. That you just don't build our life on sifting sands, because every wind and every tide and every bit of water can shift that sand around, and it will mess you up, and because I've had a few times that I put my boat up on the dry land, where it was just a part of it was on the dry land and the back of the boat was in the water. And if it was left there overnight, sometime during the night, if the winds came up or whatever, I'd get up the next morning and that boat would be almost full of water. So we don't want your boat to be full of water. We want you to, once you have driven your boat through life, that it's ever safe upon a sure foundation. So, after telling you that little story, we sold the boat, and Carol and I were blessed. Actually, we sold the little boat more than we had to pay for it, and we bought it new. But we had to, we wanted to be sure that the people that got the boat from us, and I'll tell you several boat stories as we go along. The people that got the boat, we made sure that we had bigger rollers for them and guides for them, because we didn't want that to happen to them. And see, that's why I'm telling you about the guides and the bigger rollers and the avenues and things, because I don't want you to have to be in situations where you don't have that. So we wanted to be sure people had those things on the boat, even though it was not our boat anymore, but it would be their boat now. So that's what I want for you. I want you to have guides in life. So we sold the boat, and here we are getting ready to move to Lufkin, and we packed all our stuff, and you guys that know Carolyn, even at a young age, she was into garage sales. She was a very frugal woman, and she, we used to have people and where we all went to church, they said, if you give Miss Carolyn $25, she can furnish your whole house. And so I don't know if she could do it for $25, but she'd work at it. Was always garage sales and stuff. So the things that we had that we'd bought, God always gave us more than what we paid for those things, and so we were set to go to Lufkin, and so we moved to Lufkin, and I was excited about that, to go and to Lufkin and being at a job that I was working daylight, so I'd be home with Carolyn and Thaxton at night. So when we came to Lufkin, when we came into Lufkin, we found us an apartment place and everything. And a good thing about being in Lufkin, and there's a little town called Zavala, Texas, and the lake came up there pretty close to it, which was Rayburn Lake as well. Was it Rayburn or Toledo Bend? Either one of them. The lake was close, so we were in heaven because we were close to the water too. So God has always brought us to steps where we would need to either meet somebody or be in part of somebody or whatever. And I want you to understand that if you know God, your steps are ordered of the Lord. Now, can you take missteps and get off the trail? Yeah, you can get off the trail. You can get like if you're driving a car, you can get off in a ditch, or you can cross a line when you're not supposed to. Those things happen in life, and you know that. So we had found an apartment, a nice little apartment, and had a swimming pool and everything. And Thaxton, he loved the water, and so did Carolyn and I, and so we could go swimming and all that. And we met the one of the leasing managers was there. You know how Carolyn is; she befriended everyone, and of course, everyone who's known my wife fall in love with her, and so she got to building a relationship with this girl, and she had told us that. And we were looking for a place to go to church, and she told us, she said that her dad and mom were the pastors of this church. And so we eventually started going to church with those guys, and God was working it all out. I liked the job I was on. I was getting to know the guys, and they were getting to know me, and there was quite a stories to tell and all that. I don't know if I'll tell some of those stories, but anyhow, I was working days, and I enjoyed that. It was an easy job. It was a small area, a small train, I don't say train station, but it's a train, Train yard, and there where I was working, and so, but it gave me an opportunity to be home all the time. And so, Thaxton, he was pulling up on stuff, and I was at home one day. I think it maybe been a Saturday or something. I was at home, and my son did a lot of cute things, even though he's a boy, and he did a lot of cute things, and Carolyn was always taking photos of him and stuff like that. And he was trying to walk, and pulling up and scooting along the sofa and everything. And Carolyn told me that day, she said, "Man, he's trying to walk today. I think he's going to walk today." I said, "Yeah, he's going to walk today." I said, I know, I saw you trying. So, when I'll talk about my son a little bit, when he was potty training and everything, Carolyn would set him down there on the little potty thing, and give him some the little Cheerios, not Oreos, but Cheerios, and he would eat them there, and that was kind of his reward if he did whatever, And so he was had gone into the big bathroom, and he scooted along his little stroller thing he was in, scooted along in our bathroom, and she could hear him splashing water in there. And she went in there, and so he was digging in the bowl, splashing in the bowl. There was nothing in the bowl, thank the Lord, but he was splashing around in the bowl and everything. And so Carol said, she spat at his hand, and he drew his hand back like that, And then Carolyn got to think, she said, "Man, that would have been a cute picture." So she went and got her camera and stuck his hand back in the bowl, and Thaxton had such a strange look on his face, like, you just spat in my hand for sticking my hand in the bowl. Now you, but anyhow, she taking a picture of him, and so she said, well, I won't let him do it no more. So that didn't happen anymore. So Carolyn was said, I got to go to the store and everything. I said, okay, well, go ahead. I'll be here with Thaxton, and we'll go swimming when you get back. So she went to the store, and of course she met up with somebody. You know how Carolyn is. If she goes to the store for 15 minutes, she's gonna be there 2 or 3 hours. So she's gonna meet somebody she knows or somebody she don't know. She's gonna stand there and talk to them. But anyhow, when she got back home, she was on her way home, and I'd met her out because our apartment. There were some stairs that went up, and our apartment door was underneath the stairs over there. And I'd met her. I said, guess what happened? What happened? And she said, what happened? Is Thaxton okay? I said, yeah, but he's walking. And she started crying. I said, what are you crying for? I wanted to be there when he first started walking. I said, I'll go set him on the floor and he can get up and walk again. So she was experiencing that. I went and got the groceries, and she came in and loved on Thaxton, and she put him over there, and sure enough, he started walking to her. And so they were all excited about that, you know. So that's the same way God is. He's excited about us to learning how to walk. And so we need to learn how to walk more stable in our lives, you know, and we will. So I continue that story about, you know, living there for a while and then making other transition and other changes. But I want to again say to you how much I love you and how much I appreciate you letting me talk to you today and then encourage you today. And I always want to say again, what Carolyn always said, we are eternal. We are eternal, and we're going to be eternal. We are eternal. And I will talk to you later. You go and win in everything today. You be a victor, a victorious person, a person of victory in everything you do. Whatever you put your hands to, you're going to prosper today. And I'll talk to you soon, and we'll have some more story to tell, okay? Go and have a good day and a good weekend. Love you guys so much.